crashed and sunk our boat, and yes, I am freaking out right now. We're thinking about biting the bullet and actually purchasing another. We're sailing good, bad, and ugly. 3 years ago, we bought our boat off Craigslist for $5,000. I'm Kristen, and this is Matt. We are known to break the rules and do things a little less traditional. Hit subscribe to join the adventure. Thanks to our patrons for keeping us going. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sailing GBU. Last week we drove all around Vieques of Puerto Rico on our golf cart and we saw horses, wild horses, beaches. It was pretty crazy. But this week we're heading away from Vieques. We had a great time. We are sailing off, and where are we headed, Matt?
We are heading to Fajardo, Puerto Rico, way up there in the northwest tip. Got about a 30-mile sail today.
So it should be good. Nothing crazy, right? No, not that bad. Well, you never know what's gonna happen. So if you're new here, make sure you guys subscribe and let's go.
All right, guys, so we're not going upwind today. We're kind of going with the beam and downwind. So I'm gonna attempt to sail off anchor today. I gotta put up my mainsail and pull the anchor, and we should be able to just scoot on out there.
Wish that I could stay. Wish for this moment to never go away. But it's all in my mind, though I know that there is nothing to find. You're a beautiful sight in the summer night, and you can't put up a fight in the misty light.
How'd you feel that went, Matt? Successful sail off anchor?
Went successful sail off anchor for sure. For some reason I've been struggling with it. Maybe you sailors out there can help me. Whenever I pull up my anchor with just my main up, I really have like no steerage, and I turn the wheel all the way to one side, but it just goes the other way. So it's something that I'm trying to learn, but it's easy with the furler. You just let out like 3 or 4 feet of furler and it swings you right around.
Maybe it's your boom track thing. You gotta loosen it and open it wider.
Yeah, let me know if I gotta open my boom track thing. But it's just like the boat doesn't move at all. It doesn't ever go in the direction that I need it to go. So, but yeah, aside from that, it went pretty smooth. I think so.
Nice job.
I was about to go full ramming speed into my neighbors, so that was good.
They were staring in the cockpit at us.
While you roam in the streets all alone, all you can see, thinking about what your life came to be. You're a beautiful sight in the summer night, and you can't put up a fight in the misty light.
Alright guys, so I'm out here sailing. Beautiful day, beautiful sail thus far. It's only been going down for about an hour, so nothing to complain about yet. But I was just looking at my lady and I was like, damn girl, that outfit though. Y'all gotta see this. Girl, tell them about that outfit.
I caved and I got a tourist. Cut. I got a tourist shirt. And it's from Esperanza, the restaurant Duffy's. I had to get it. The tie-dye was calling my name, but check out the back. That's the best part. Can you see it?
Yeah. It's an iguana and a hammock with a medalla.
Alright, guys, you know, Matt gets to always get the votes 1 out of 10. What do you guys think of my shirt? You know, give me a 1 out of 10. I think it's a 10 because this is tie-dye, you can't go wrong. The pastel-y colored tie-dye, you can't go wrong. And an iguana in a hammock drinking a medalla,
you think you're gonna get a higher score than me?
Yeah.
Look over there looking like a damn Easter egg. It ain't even
jealous.
equal.
He's jealous of my shirt.
I'll tell you who is jealous of that shirt is my dad. So if you've been following along on the channel, you know that I'm always hitting the tic-tac-toes against the wind. And now I think I don't have to tack. I believe this is called a jibe in nautical terms. Let me know if I'm wrong. And that's when the wind is kind of behind us and we're just gonna kind of turn that way. And the mainsail's gonna flop over, the headsail's gonna flop over, and then we're just gonna...
All right, let's see that happen.
Let's do it. I cut it too short. I got a little ahead of myself, but you know what? That's why you got to try things, because that's how you learn. Now I know that you can't just do whatever you want, Matt.
The water's so pretty around Vieques. I know it's probably pretty deep right here, but I can pretty much, I don't know if it shows up on camera, see all the way down to the bottom. Just stare at the blue water all day. This is one of our best sails that we've had in a while. I guess calmest sails. We haven't sailed downwind in forever, and I'm really enjoying life right now. What you didn't just see there is we almost just sunk our boat. Maybe not, but maybe is what happened. Everything went wrong at once. I was flying the drone, and flying the drone is a high risk. I always say this on the channel, flying the drone while sailing is high risk. But you know what? The water was so beautiful, I wanted to take the risk, so I put it up there. Everything's going great. Ooh, I'm getting the shots. Everything's piping, everything's going, and then all of a sudden, it's time to land the drone before the battery dies. And Matt said, okay, I'm gonna furl in our, what is it, jib sail?
Head sail, yeah.
I'm gonna furl in the head sail. And then the boat will slow down some so we can pull it forward and land it. So it starts slowing down some. Matt's going on about something over here. I'm not paying attention to him because I'm focusing on getting the drone close enough where we can grab it out of the sky and land it. So I'm inching up, Matt's still kind of going crazy, and then I was like, what's going on? And then he said, a shoal, or what'd you say, a reef?
Yeah, a reef. What I had done essentially was to make landing the drone easier, I furled the head sail and basically just stalled the boat, which will make it basically sit still under the main, and you're maybe moving a knot or whatever. So that'll be safe to land. We'll do it for 2 seconds, we'll go to land, I'll put the head sail back out and we'll go. So what I didn't realize was we were maybe a, I don't know, 1/10 of a mile, 1,000 feet something away from this shoal. And when I had stalled that, the current was running toward the shoal. So when I stopped us going a knot, the current's going 2-3 knots. So now I'm going 4 knots directly at the shoal. So I'm kind of like tripping a little bit, but we got her out of there. We cranked the motor up.
No, that story's not where it ends. He starts tripping out, freaking out, and then I was like, not freaking out. He was keeping it together. I was freaking out. I was like, what the? Because I looked, as soon as I took my attention off the drone and looked at what was happening in the situation, I saw all these white caps, which obviously means it's shallow, and so I started freaking out, and then I was like, well, we gotta get out of here, and I still got the drone in the air, and I was like, the batteries on those things just start draining down. So in my mind, I'm like, we're about to sink the boat, and I can't even land the drone, and the battery's about to die, everything started combusting into one big blip. So Matt calmly, because he's good, he's a good pressure player, I'm not, I freak out. So he calmly goes, all right. So he runs up to the side of the boat and he says, all right, land the drone, lower, lower. And he starts doing these moves and then he grabs it out, cuts his finger, then flies into the cockpit and starts trying to start the motor. And I'm just like this, freaking out as I'm seeing the waves. And I don't know, it was like 8 feet. So maybe we could have made it over.
Yeah, it's an 8-foot sandy shoal, 8 feet reported.
But you never know.
Well, we've been running aground lately on a lot of 8 feet spots. So apparently our draft grew 3 feet. But yeah, the charts haven't been great, so I was a little trepidatious about that.
And the motor wouldn't start, of course. At the time of need, the motor wouldn't start. And it was like this weird current situation, I don't know. It finally started, Matt got it to manually start or something, and we zipped out of there. And that's all for trying to fly your drone to make a YouTube video. We almost crashed and sunk our boat, and yes, I am freaking out right now. I'm still, my blood is like boiling, like out of freak out. And he's not freaking out. He's just like, whatever, we got out of there.
It's just a boat. At the end of the day, I could have
It's just our home.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I could have man-dolphined. I just would have jumped in with my flippers and I would have been like a human.
Yeah, he says he would have jumped in with his flippers and pushed the boat out of the way.
Yeah, with big flippers on, I could turn the front of the boat. I promise you, I'll put more power than a bow thruster.
Maybe that would work, but that was not my initial plan. I looked right to the outboard saying, how are we going to get that thing onto that dinghy to get us out of here? But it's fine, guys. Sorry for me flipping out, but you know what? That's what happens sometimes when you sail. Everything's perfect and then it all goes to hell.
Sometimes things happen beyond your control, as if they have a life of their own.
Alright, so we're 8 nautical miles from our checkered flag, and right now we're going 5.5 knots, 5.7, 5.8, we're hitting 6. We got a little puff here. So we're riding pretty good, should be there in 2 hours I'd say, which is going to put us there at 3:30 Puerto Rico time.
See what the choices came to be, like a storm that's passed on. Oh, the brain down the drain. Oh, the fuse, the abuse. Oh, please, storm-felled trees. Oh, the fight over who's right. Trying to remember all the shit that went down. I don't know what your intention was. Like trying to memorize the Bible backwards to the start and reciting it from the heart.
Alright guys, so it's the next day and it looks like a pretty cool anchorage. Today we're going to go out exploring and I'm seeing a lot of boat graveyard, it looks like. Maybe from the hurricanes, well, most likely from the hurricanes.
Probably.
So let's check it out.
Alright, so this anchorage, upon further inspection, has a bunch of sunken boats here. This one I knew was here. I saw it on Google Maps, Google Earth, before I sailed here, and I said, man, that's going to be really cool to dive and kind of look at some ships like this. We started our sailing journey in Florida, and we lived in Key West, and there was a lot of sunken boats, so I know that these a lot of times hold fish and lobster and things like that. So I was excited to come here and check out some of these sunken wrecks. I want to show you guys, looking more at this anchorage, some hazards, and it kind of like seeing sunken boats like this made me think sunken objects are a hazard. If you came in at night and you were to hit that, you'd be in some big trouble. So let me show you a few more things to avoid when you come into an unknown anchorage. We were out on a nice little dinghy ride today. We decided to grab a mooring ball. Moorings are cool. A lot of people are into them. People like to grab them, hang their boat on there, and just party hardy. However, if you were to pull into this mooring field following your charts, you'd pull in behind me, it's nice and deep, you'd roll in and you'd say, let's say it was a low light situation, you'd say there's a ball we can grab, and then slat it at. There's two boats, like maybe I would say 3 feet underwater, maybe 2 feet underwater, that you could see during the day with good lighting, but you definitely would not see if you came in toward the evening or in the early morning under any type of low light situation. So you want to be careful and think about that. The way that I do this is I go on Google Earth, and I look at the images of most anchorages that I'm at. If I see a lot of sunken boats from the pictures and from things that they have, I always assume that there's more that you can't really see that may be within that draft range of your boat. So these are things that I think about a good deal when I go to any new anchorage, because that would ruin your day. If you pulled in here, you're already tired, you're thinking about grabbing a mooring ball, you had a long day sailing, you run up on one of these sunken boats, and it's gonna make you have a bad evening.
That's why we're anchored far out.
And that's why we anchor far out. Yeah, this way when you're in 15 feet of water, if a boat sank, odds are you're still got plenty of room for the draft. I mean, this one over here, you can see has its mast stuck out. You're not gonna hit that bad boy. But the ones that are just under the water, completely sank, it can be a bit of a hazard. And when you're traveling abroad in these countries, sometimes they stay there.
Here she comes like the rays of the sun, she shines. A 10 out of 10 low, she's no less than a dime.
Alright guys, not too far away from where we anchored our boat is this nice little clear blue water. It's like a blue lagoon is what we call it. And you can like dive in here. I like how it goes from shallow to deep real quick. And I could just see it chilling here on a nice hot day like today, drinking some beverages. This is one of those, hey cruiser friend, let's meet up and pop some beers. I don't know why I did that voice for our cruiser friends. Anyways.
Yeah, I never met a cruiser friend that cool before. That guy sounded awesome.
But yeah, it feels good, and this whole island blocks all the wind from the bigger ocean.
Warrior, but a tender heart, yeah. Had me hooked on a love right from the start. Pleasure and happiness is never far, no.
Dang, that was a belly flop of a lifetime.
It was a leg flop.
Alright guys, so as you've seen in our previous video, we got a hole in the front of our dinghy. This isn't the first hole we've had in our dinghy. Weird story, we also put a hole in our dinghy back in Key West going over a wreck, just like these wrecks that you've seen at this anchorage. But we're thinking about biting the bullet and actually purchasing another dinghy. And what do you guys think? Does anyone have any big opinions on dinghies? We see a lot of people always push high field, and we've actually met some cruisers in person, not just watching on YouTube, but we met people in person who have high fields, and they all say they're really great. So should we bite the bullet and get a high field, or is there another brand that you think is just as good or better? Basically, what are we looking for?
Speed, power,
No, we're not.
precision, integrity.
We're looking for quality, light, and like a 9-foot, right?
Realistically, yeah, I want the lightest dinghy that can handle a 15 horsepower, 130 pound outboard, and also hard bottom, light, and structural integrity to handle a heavy motor.
All right, so put them in the comments down below.
All right guys, so Kristen didn't want to tell you guys earlier when she was extolling the virtues of the Blue Bayou, the Blue Lagoon, if you will, and its restorative powers. One time we were really hungover, super drunk, and we got up and said, you know what, we're gonna push ourselves.
One time. This is yesterday.
we're gonna push ourselves to come out and do something constructive and get off this boat. We were both just like, oh man. One dip in the Blue Lagoon, full reset button. I felt like $1 million. How'd you feel?
It was the youth eternity.
It was the Youth
I don't know
Eternity
what
special.
that means, but it sounded right. It was the youth eternity.
The Youth Eternity. Anyone that's trying to make a YouTube video out
Come
there,
back next month when I'm making skincare called Youth Eternity.
Trademarked it.
The Blue Lagoon.
we just trademarked it. It's here. Timestamp it. Youth Eternity. All right. So yeah, if you're ever out and about and you drink a little too much in the islands, find yourself a nice little Blue Lagoon, run and jump head first into it, and then schwapow. Youth Eternity 5000. Hashtag it.